Hi guys, and welcome to a new video. On today's topic, this one is a little tender in my heart. Recently, it really helped me shift a lot of thinking about self-perception and how I move in the world. And the topic is how to improve your relationship with power. When we're talking about power, we must understand what power is and what power isn't. Power is not control. Control, most of the time, relates to fear. When we feel the need to control something, when we feel the need to control someone, when we feel the need to control life, it probably means that we have to dig deeper and work on the layers of fear that we've built. When we're afraid of how we're being perceived and we need to control not only ourselves, our self perception, our self identity, but also others, it often means that there are layers that we gotta work through. That's usually what being controlling looks like. There is a part of you that feels insecure and that feels the need to overperform, to control, to be seen as something or that thing that you want other people to only see of you. Not as the whole, but only as that perfect or that powerful or that whatever it is. And when we allow ourselves to look at a different meaning, a different definition of power, agency kicks in. Power is the capacity to have agency, the capacity to take action, the capacity to ignite, to sustain, to create change. Power is the capacity we have to move around the world because we are the only thinkers in our brains. We are the only ones who create the inner narratives. And the moment that we understand that we have power, that we have capacity to make adjustments, to change things, that's when things begin to open up for us. That's when we allow ourselves to actually have options. That's when we allow ourselves to have clarity of thinking. In order to help you guys understand this more, first I want you to take a look at the catalog of resources. They're on my website, they're all free, and they're going to really help you dial in into some of these topics that I'm going to be talking about. So if you're interested and you want to learn more, you want to upgrade your self-concept, and you just want to journal your thoughts out and get more clear on your roadmap, the resources are right there in the link in the description, and they are there forever. I really want people to enjoy some of the things that have helped me become a much authentic version of myself, because I've learned it from other people. I've learned it throughout my life, and it's meaningful to share things like this. Now, going back into the dynamics of power, there are a few concepts we must understand, and I want to list them out. The power roles in our lives, or power dynamics, the power narratives, the concept of power, creating a sense of agency, and becoming an agent of change. Those are some of the topics that I'm going to be covering throughout the video. When we're talking about power roles or power dynamics in our lives, I want you to reflect at the moment that you started to identify power in your life. For me, it started, like with my parents, yes, and my relatives, but also the media and power roles in our life, such as presidents. To give you an example, I was born in Venezuela and I raised to Ecuador really young. And I remember that when I was a child, the president was Chavez. And the president back then had a poor relationship with power. And that when I started to associate things, I didn't want it to be associated with him. That is the moment that I started to struggle with my relationship of power, because I started to think that presidents or people in positions of power were bad. After that, I remember that I was part of a cult for almost 10 years. And again, someone in a position of power harming others, something that my brain said, this is not something I want to be identified with. Danger. I don't want this in my life. So, why I am putting that example out? It's because now that I'm 26 and that I've looked at my experiences and I got clear in and I keep getting clear on what are things that I have to work on. I was noticing that my relationship with power, with being perceived as someone with agency, as being perceived with someone with action, made me feel uncomfortable. And I started to wonder why? What is there a resistance towards something as simple as having a voice, something as simple as having freedom of thinking, something as simple as expressing myself? And that is where I had to take a look at the past, because it's there for a reason, and analyze, okay, why do I feel resistance towards being seen? Why do I feel resistance towards XYZ? And I had to take a look at all the relationships, all the dynamics of those relationships, for me to make adjustments on how I perceive myself. Because people mirror back to us things that we believe about ourselves. That's pretty much what happens. So when you allow yourself to make this shift in consciousness, to make this shift and the adjustments, and understand that not because of having power, that means that I am going to be seen as a villain. And even if I'm seen as a villain on someone else's movie, I am comfortable with that, because I don't have control over the other person. I only have control over myself. Now, power narratives. When we choose to dig deep into our subconscious and dig deep into how we perceive power, how we talk to others, how we relate to others, and how relationships shift around our lives, we begin to get very clear on, okay, this makes me feel comfortable, this makes me feel uncomfortable. Am I able to set boundaries? And you can begin to perceive boundaries as your birthright. You're allowed to say no. You're allowed to say, I don't want to do this. You're allowed. And anything after that becomes your choice. Once we begin to get comfortable with the concept that we are the ones making choices in our lives, that we are the ones responsible for our lives and not other people, once we begin to understand that we are not victims, and we can shift our mentality from victimhood into, I am the creative power in my life. I am the one making decisions, and I am the one who has agency. That's where we can begin to see the shift in our relationship with life. Now, if you want to make adjustments in the power narratives, there are some resources in the website that are really going to help you with that. One of it is the identity shift. It's understanding that your identity is flexible, that you don't have to be loyal to a perception of yourself, because we change, people change, and things shift in life. So when we allow ourselves to say, I'm going to let this sink in, I want to make positive changes in my life, and I am willing to let go of things. In my identity, I'm willing to make space. I'm willing to put things in the garbage. That's where we can begin to navigate the discomfort. And that is a beautiful, magical, wonderful thing. Because it means that we are willing to get ourselves out of the way and allow life to organize us. because life knows more, the universe knows more. And the moment that we understand that we can heal patterns of thinking, we can heal trauma, we can move on from things, we have less tendency to control things. You have less tendency to control the outcome because you learn how to enjoy the process of becoming yourself. So now let's talk about creating a sense of agency. I want you to focus for the next little while on what makes you feel good, what doesn't make you feel good, what are things that you're willing to let go of, what are things that you no longer want to sustain in yourself. Are you willing to develop a deeper sense of self-awareness? And most importantly, are you willing to develop a kinder self-narrative? Understanding that you deserve the dignity to have a kind, loving, and supportive inner narrative. And that you wouldn't talk poorly to a friend. You wouldn't beat up a friend. And if you do so, if those things happen, take a look at yourself. Take a look at your fears and allow yourself to hold them. To say, even though I feel this uncomfortable emotion, even though I feel this uncomfortable thing, I am able to hold myself with grace here. And I'm able to let it go. Because that is the main reason why we choose to control things. So let yourself let go of control. Let go of the need to control things. And develop a sense of enjoyment of the process. Even if it's muddy, even if it's uncomfortable. That's how you become an agent of change. Because becoming an agent of change is not you constantly thinking, but rather you allowing yourself to take inspired action. You allowing yourself to go beyond your fears, allowing yourself to go beyond your limitations, and understanding how wonderful things can be. So let yourself land here. Let yourself feel the quality of this content and let yourself dig deeper in your subconscious. You are here for a reason. We are all here for a very special reason. And when we allow ourselves to create that sense of agency, that sense of self-worth, that sense of I deserve good things, I deserve to change, I am willing to change, we can actually make the changes that we want in our lives. I send you lots of love and support. I hope you feel inspired. I hope you feel motivated. And beyond that, I hope that you feel supported with this. I'm putting this out there because in the past, I would have liked to have someone with the knowledge that I have today. I would have liked to have that friend that would come to me with these concepts and would come to me with these ideas. So I became that person for myself. And I know a lot of teens out there, a lot of people out there are looking to hear these type of things. So if this resonated and you feel the need to share it, please do. We gotta become aware. We gotta understand that we're here to be agents of change and we deserve good things in life. I send you blessings, send you lots of love, and I hope you have an amazing week.